Let's move on to Pooch and Mutt's acquisition of Biome 9, which is this kit they sent me a while back. Pet food manufacturer Pooch and Mutt has acquired dog good health firm Biome 9 for an undisclosed sum, marking its first acquisition since being purchased by Vafo Group in 2020. What do you think about this acquisition? Really, really interesting. I mean, when this idea was presented to me, whenever the guys got in touch, I felt like a complete monkey, if I am being completely honest, because we are all here selling dog food, right? Material things, things that are carried in pallets, big sacks of food, and these people just have a lab, and they want to use AI to see whether our dog's gut is healthy or not. They sell subscription products like treats and probiotics and that sort of thing. And so whenever I heard about it at first, I was like, oh my God, I feel so stupid. And then I saw a few of their Facebook ads, and they weren't getting a lot of traction, unless they were deleting comments and creating new ads. So I don't think the product resonated with the end consumer, and I don't really know whose fault it is. Is it a very complex product, like, or is it very expensive? Because I think it sets you back about £200 plus the ongoing probiotics. Do you think Pooch and Mutt are going to benefit from the acquisition? What do you think about the whole thing?
Yeah, I think it's a weird acquisition, to be honest. Um, I see like the benefit of it, and I think like gut biome in the last couple of years has become like a massive thing where people are talking about prebiotics, probiotics, but they're talking about postbiotics, but they're talking about it in a framework of what's there. I mean, human gut biomes have become a lot more talked about, um, but I still don't see like the business case where a company like Pooch and Mutt buys it now. All I can think is that it may be something to do with trying to integrate it into their current system of selling food. To be honest, I mean, where they maybe give biome tests to some of their customers, or a low value biome test, and it drives them down the science route of actually feeding different products. Other than that, I don't get it, to be honest. I'm not sure like where the end play is for that. I'm not sure, and it depends on what they're paid for it as well, because maybe it's just really profitable. But I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it, to be honest.
I mean, I believe Peter Pritchard, ex CEO of Pets at Home, is one of the investors at Biome 9. So he will have a lot of connections, obviously. And I mean, if he's investing in something, I mean, who am I to say the product is not good? But yeah, I do agree with you. It's yet another subscription business. So if you want Amazon and Netflix and Biome 9, you can get it by all means. And it's a very high information product. It's a very complicated product. In my opinion, you can probably cater this to the top 20 to 10% of raw feeders who get all the gut microbiome gig, and they are crazy about dog's guts and the outer layer of the dog's gut, which is called the glycocalyx, and permeability of the gut and all that sort of thing. But whenever we talk about probiotics or prebiotics in our branches, it's not a conversation people really want to pay too much attention to, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, how many people eat yogurt as a probiotic every day?
But that's what I say is that although I get it, I get the growth in it. I don't get the business case, the long term business case, because to get people on board, you need a lot of subscribers. You need a lot of people paying for a product, and £200 for a gut biome test. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money. Like it's not, you know, like your first port of call should be maybe give my dog some kefir if it's like got bad guts, or try and build it up naturally. Use some pumpkin powder as a prebiotic. Use a sensitive stomach based food as a prebiotic. Like there's other things you would do before you pay £200 for a test and then go on a subscription service afterwards. It feels like it's a last vestige. It's where you've tried everything and you're like, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to do a test. As
Yeah.
opposed to, it's a bit like if your dog has an allergic reaction to its food, you just try another food and you say, well, he's eating, a chicken with corn diet. I'm going to switch it to a grain-free duck diet and see if that makes a difference. And it makes a difference, and great. And if it doesn't, then maybe you'll try something else before you actually go and get a blood panel. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it just always seems like it's the end of the queue, and that's why, although I see the benefits in it, I don't see the long-term business case in it.
What do you make of Pooch and Mutz's products? I mean, they sell 10-kilo bags for 60 quid to 73 quid, 80 quid. So it's on the premium end. And they have done a really good job, in my opinion, at positioning themselves as a very high-end brand in order to compete with your origins. They are regarded as very high quality by the consumer, even though I think that the filler they put in the food knocks them down a peg a little bit. But what do you think of how do you think they've managed to convince the customer that their food is a super premium that commands high prices?
Yeah, I think it's a funny one, Pooch and Mutt, because I don't think that, I think what they do is they've got a strong route into a certain demographic. I think the branding in that, it's very good for some people love it. It's one of those things. It was a bit like Lily's Kitchen, to be honest. They're very good at wordplay, at marketing wordplay, and I think there's a certain demographic that eats that up, and they've really, I think they're the successor to Lily's Kitchen in the sense that it's not the crazy high price of Lily's Kitchen, because I think Lily's Kitchen was flawed in that sense, but I think it's still very good at putting across that sort of wording without being completely corny. And I think that they've got the right balance between being high end but being profitable, but also like driving a certain demographic, which is why in my opinion, their sort of long term customer life, it's hard to expand beyond a certain point. But they've picked up a very strong demographic of the market, very successfully, which is still a really good business. But I don't see where their long-term growth plans are, which is maybe why they're buying into bought by online. Maybe they're just looking and saying, well, how can we actually get bigger? I just don't think that's the right move, to be honest.